And as Tony mentioned, not everyone took to his words or his rhetoric. You know, at times they were offensive to specific communities. But with that said, this is not the time to focus on that. We are focused on this tragedy. Speaking of this tragedy, is this a moment for your party to reflect on political violence? Is it a moment for us to think about the responsibility of our political leaders and their voices and what it does to the masses as they get lost in misinformation or disinformation that turns in and spills into political violence?
I say both parties.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
Oh, please. Right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States? Right? And every ugly meme he has posted and every ugly word.
Politics definitely has a huge part in it. Trump, and when I say Trump has a huge part in it, I don't necessarily mean he's to blame for it, but he's so divisive without really even just his face is like divisive. Like people hate him so much. And the left and the right, the rhetoric, especially to me, the left is insane. And it just boils. And this happened when Trump, they threatened when his assassination attempt, there's like a 3-hour period of like, let's tone down the rhetoric.
Right.
Then they're right back to it.
What I do know for sure is that, you know, Charlie was someone who once said, you know, guns save lives after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right, have no regard, downplay slavery and what Black people have gone through in this country by saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, you know, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, you know, like than to completely pretend that, you know, his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so. And
I hope it doesn't have a chilling effect, whether you're left or right, on your ability to speak your mind. I know the one thing we all agree about on this table, we all share our viewpoints, and we should be able to do that without fear.
Well, that's our bread and butter here. So, of course, it's very important. I agree with everything you're saying.
And also, although we don't all align with his views, what I deeply aligned with was he said, when we stop talking, that's when things get bad. The irony of a man who would go across the country to college campuses, that's the pinnacle of thought differences. It's where you're supposed to have conversations, would go, and his series was called Prove Me Wrong. He would talk to people openly who disagreed. It's what we try to exemplify every day and say, this is what we need more of. So the irony of being violently killed while saying those words of what we need more of in this country, I know all of us agree on that part, as there's never a place for political violence.
Yeah, I know that it's somewhat object of mockery to say thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers for his family. They need it from all of us. And Jesse's right. If they can do this, they are capable of anything. I think that was the message. I believe that was the message. It's really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not the radical type. But if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up.
And we will.
Now, it's still up to us. I saw a lot of rumors online today. I was made aware of this by my team. That I canceled some sort of college tour. That's bullshit. I saw those rumors. They are false. I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure, because we're Americans and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. And to those who would intimidate, who would seek to stop us, who would seek to end free discussion, who believe that they have ownership over public spaces and can violently threaten and kill people who speak freely. We are not going to stop. And I have 2 words. Fuck you.
You know, I don't even say parties. I say a nation. Okay. And if there's a moment in time we want to look to, and I looked back and I watched this again when Robert F. Kennedy is running and he's in Indianapolis and he just got the news that Martin Luther King was killed. And he has to tell the crowd because we don't have social media at that time. And it was remarkable the words he said. He said, we have to ask as a nation, who are we? And how do we want to move forward? We have watched this political attack on both sides. We watched what happened in Minnesota. We watched what happened to President Trump. We've watched this on both sides. This is not a question about parties. This is a question about nations. We cannot normalize this, but Charlie was not elected. Charlie was not doing something where you would sit there and one party say something wrong. He was honoring. He was doing it on a college where ideas. This is what happened in the 60s. This is a moment in time for this nation to take this time to actually make a question about all of us.
We don't want to go back to the 60s.
We don't.
That was a more violent period than people recall. We could talk about the 60s.
If an event like this happens to somebody on the opposing side the next 48 hours, the next week, think about the equivalent of Charlie Kirk on the other side. If an event like this happens on the opposing side, you have to know a country on the outside wants to see a civil war in America. That concerns me a lot.
And one thing a friend said to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, so like maybe we should also ask a question: is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be, and how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing?
Let's be serious about where this violence is coming from. Of extremist violent attacks in America, extremist violent murders, 76% are from right-wing extremists, 4% are from left-wing extremists. I condemn that 4%, but we also need to be honest about, as a nation, about where this violence is coming from. And oh, by the way, it's probably an appropriate time to talk about guns too. You hear a lot of conservatives saying, hey, the only thing we need to do here is get more guns on the street. That's not going to solve this problem. That's going to make it worse.
We will not stop telling the truth. We will never stop telling the truth. We will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and for what she should be. And we will never let Charlie Kirk's voice die. Goodbye to my friend, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing for your family and for your country and for all of us.
Well, it didn't take long. Didn't take long for the pundits and their opinions to start flying in attempts to justify hate crimes and political violence. Whew, sheesh. And if we add on top of that the obligatory call to trigger emotions based on sadness and sorrow, well, I gotta be honest, guys. I would be remiss if I said I expected anything less from the usual suspects. However, now we have to pick and choose a side yet again, it seems, but this isn't going to be a side of political preference, red or blue, D versus R. No, not this time. No, this is going to be a side of truth, a side of right versus wrong. Now, I'm in no way qualified to tell you how to decide, but I am certainly going to provide you with the information and forum that allows you to make up your own mind. Join us at Better America for a continuation of discussion without the chains and boundaries of YouTube's community guidelines and censorship. There's a link down below in the description. I have more videos, compilations, reactions, conversations, podcasts, and guests I want to share, but I know my limitations here on the platform. I think the saddest part of it all is how Charlie Kirk's death was televised and continues to be played on a never-ending, seemingly continuous loop on X. Shot down and killed, dead like a dog, on live TV for the world to see, but now only referred to as in the past tense and vilified by all those who opposed him or what all he stood for. But to make matters even worse, and I truly feel for his mourning wife, now a widow, and fatherless children, is the grim fact that they have to be conscious of all the hate inevitably thrown their way based on hateful opinions of Democrats and the mainstream media towards their now gone, deceased, dead father, husband, a brother, perhaps maybe son, Charlie Kirk. This is truly so sad, and perhaps Greg Gutfeld put it best. No one deserves to go out like that. No one. But I call on you. I'm counting on you all, viewers, subscribers, folks. Tell me, what do you think comes next? You've heard from Newsom, Warren, David, Omar, and more, CNN, MSNBC, and others, Portnoy. I'm not sure how much weight they all hold, but nonetheless, their voices, platforms, followings, all will have influence on how the world responds. We even heard from Crockett and Obama. But tell everyone in the comments what you think and or your thoughts about Charlie Kirk and the overall vibe of the internet and comment section, neighborhoods, local community, workplace, co-workers, and how you all feel right now. And if by chance the goal is civil war, which would make America look real stupid right now to other countries, who on the left is most vulnerable? Perhaps maybe who on the right? Ben Shapiro sticking his neck out on the line, but I'm hearing mixed reviews about Ben Shapiro right now. But who would you consider to be the left-wing version of Charlie Kirk, if there's even such a worthy comparison? Lots of seniors have even told me that this is an extreme burden for them and are greatly appreciative of these videos and conversations and the dialogue that allow them to help stay informed. And I would also like to mention how Chapter is a tremendous partner, and their trained professionals, expert staff are available to do the same when it comes to healthcare and Medicare questions, coverage, and finding money savings. Their numbers on the screen and in the description for anyone who would like to learn more about potential money savings and improved healthcare coverage in just under 20 minutes. It's fast, simple, easy, and it's free. They're 100% non-biased, and you've probably even seen them or heard Glenn Beck mention them on his show. Stay safe, folks. We love you all. More news to come. Thanks for watching, and here's the conclusion to today's video. I look forward to reading your comments in response and reaction to this.
If you're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you're a bad person. You're going to hell. Man. Fuck Charlie Kirk. The off-ramp to the high road is closed. We are not going to be made to feel bad about y'all bullshit hero that consistently spewed harmful rhetoric, that consistently put people's lives in danger with the bullshit platform that he was given by all of you racist goofies. This has nothing to do with conservative versus liberal. This has nothing to do with Democrat versus Republican. This has nothing to do with the left versus the right, because that's what y'all gonna prop it up as. And the alleged suspect is an old white guy. But bet the mainstream media won't be talking about white-on-white violence. They won't be talking about gun control. They're gonna say there was an isolated incident by a lone shooter. And they're going to hold off the identity for as long as they can, and it's going to end up being a white guy. But we're not talking about these dangerous white men that just decide to get a gun and just start killing people. We're not going to be gaslit to feel bad about a terrible person. Is what happened to him sad? Abso-fucking-lutely. However, fuck that guy. I don't condone what happened to him, but guess what? God's timing is always right. Good day, goofies.